listening to Vet Candy.
This show is brought to you by PRN Pharmacal, makers of KBroVet. Learn more at KBroVet.com. Welcome to Brain Smarts by Vet Candy, the game show where veterinary knowledge meets comedy chaos, and the only thing sharper than the scalpel is the wit. I'm Clay Palmer.
And I'm Caitlin Palmer.
And we're your hosts for this wild ride where trivia, laughter, and the occasional animal pun collide.
That's right, folks. Today we've got a very special guest who's been redefining what it means to be a vet. And no, it's not just because he's probably wearing a blazer while holding a stethoscope.
Oh, you're talking about our fabulous guest, Dr. Thomas Vega, aka the Fashion Vet. This man is serving looks while saving lives, and honestly, I feel underdressed.
Same. I'm over here in my scrubs, and he's over there rocking a red outfit and matching glasses. And Dr. Vega is proof that you can be both Vogue and vet. Because why choose between saving puppies and slaying the runway?
Exactly. Dr. Vega didn't take the traditional path to vet med either. He started out in a call center world because nothing says future fashion icon like headsets, off-white walls, and cubicles. But then he said, nope, I'm following my heart, and went to vet school.
And thank goodness he did, because now he's out there proving that scrubs don't have to be boring. He's all about using fashion to boost confidence, spread joy, and make a few clients wonder if they accidentally walked into the GQ photo shoot instead of a vet clinic.
So, Dr. Vega, welcome to Brain Smarts. Are you ready to show off not just your veterinary knowledge, but also your impeccable sense of style?
And more importantly, are you ready to answer questions that may or may not involve animal puns, pop culture references, and the occasional existential crisis about why cats ignore us?
Hello. Yes, I am ready. I came dressed to impress. I went with a nice crimson red, if you will.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So overall, we went with a nice crimson red. Wit, I'm going to be honest with you. It is 7:00 at night, and I've been seeing patients all day. So I think what wit I had left is back at the hospital. But it'll be there when I get there tomorrow. But let's see what we can do.
I bet we can make it work.
All right, well, let's do this, Dr. Vega. Take your mark, and remember, if you don't win, you're still the best dressed person in the room.
All right, let's get this fashion-forward trivia showdown started.
Question 1. The USDA is investing $1 billion to tackle the avian flu crisis and soaring egg prices. According to the Secretary Brooke Rollins, 83% of avian flu cases come from wild birds. So, what's one of the wild ideas being considered to keep these birds away from farms? A. Training falcons to patrol poultry farms and scare off infected birds. B. Installing giant inflatable scarecrows that look like angry chefs holding frying pans. Or C. Playing non-stop recordings of birds saying, "This is a bad idea, don't land here."
Well, I'm going to go with B.
The answer is A, training falcons to patrol poultry farms to scare off infected birds.
I thought about the humane implications of doing that, and I was like, this can't possibly be humane, right? To release the hounds, right? Release the falcons.
Right.
But I guess, who am I to stand in the way of the USDA?
I mean, a wacky waving and inflatable arm flailing tube man makes more sense to me.
Yeah, but when you think about the electricity bill for the farm, right? Like, that just seems
true.
like it'd be I don't know if you can write that off as like a preventative, as biosecurity, right? So
nothing scares a bird quite like a larger bird.
It's true.
You go.
Question number 2. The USDA is also spending $100 million on vaccine research and innovative strategies to prevent future outbreaks. One idea being explored is the new vaccine for egg-laying chickens. But here's the twist. Researchers are trying to make the vaccine edible. What's the proposed delivery method? A. Mixing it into the chicken's favorite snack, tiny vaccine-filled gummy worms. B. Coating it on corn kernels so chickens can eat their medicine. Or C. Hiring a team of chickens in lab coats to administer the vaccine to each other.
That's a tough one. And when I try to think about it from an epidemiology standpoint, right? Because as doctors, we're lots of things, right? I feel like baiting is correct. You can bait the food. I'm going to go with A.
The correct answer is B. Coating it on corn kernels. 2 for 2. I know. Coating it on corn kernels so chickens can eat their medicine, because who doesn't love a snack that's also a vaccine?
Just a spoonful of popcorn helps the medicine go down.
That's right. That's right.
Question 3. The 2025 AAHA referral guidelines are all about improving collaboration between general veterinarians and specialists. One of the key roles introduced is the referral coordinator, who helps smooth out the process. But what's one unexpected skill the guidelines suggest referral coordinators should have? A, the ability to translate anxious pet owner speak into calm professional emails. B, a black belt in karate to break up any disagreements between the vets. Or C, a side hustle as a pet psychic to predict when a cat will finally agree to take its medicine.
That's never.
You know what? I'm going to trust my gut and I'm going to trust the process. We're going to go with A.
A is correct. The ability to translate anxious pet owner speak into calm professional emails, because nothing says efficiency like turning, "Oh my God, my dog ate a sock again," into "patient presents with potential foreign body ingestion."
Don't you love how we have to kind of legalese records?
You know, my pet hasn't eaten in a day, right? When in fact it's been a week. Right?
Right.
Translate that.
It just started.
So
if pet owners would just be...
I would like a can I see behind the curtain, right? Can I see... Right. Yeah.
If pet owners would just be honest about how long it's taken to get them into the vet.
Right. Stuff happens.
No one's gonna judge you. The only thing I'm judging is, you know, this creature clearly hasn't eaten in several days, but
right.
So
and if it has been eating and it looks like that, there's something wrong.
You're still in the right place. Either way, you're in the right place, right? Whether, yeah.
What's the weirdest foreign body that you've discovered?
The weirdest foreign body I had, believe it or not, it was a tampon, or let me say feminine hygiene product, I think is a proper way to say it. Which, don't even get me started on why it's not okay to just say a tampon. It's a tampon, whatever. That was super interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because this was an emergency surgery at 2 or 3 a.m. I was an emergency technician at the time, and I worked overnight at an emergency clinic. And the couple comes in. This dog hasn't eaten. You know, he's throwing up. He hasn't eaten. We take our X-rays. Right, there's a foreign body. Let's go in. We go in for the enterotomy. We extract the product. We go talk to the owner, right? And the doctor sends me in because it's like 3 a.m., right? So the doctor's going back to bed in the exam room. I've got to go finish up, and check him out and, get his pump set up. And I go in and I'm like, so he ingested a feminine hygiene product. No big deal, right? It's not a big deal. And the wife goes, I am in menopause and have been in menopause for like 2 years. And at that point I was like, that's all I can tell you. That's all. And I look at the guy and I'm like, well, first of all, you know what? I'm not sorry. Take the bro code out of here. I'm not sorry. That's wrong. And 2, I was like, that's all I can tell. That's all I know is what I pulled out of the abdomen. Right. And
right.
That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you where it came from. So, that I don't know how it ended, but that's where I took my leave. And that was
oh man,
there wasn't the foreign body itself. It was the story behind it with the owners that I found the weirdest.
It's like when they eat underwear that's not the wife's underwear.
Dude, that's happened too. And I'm like, I don't know I can just tell you what I found. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. It's like, well, have a good one.
I did my part. Now
Uber's here. I got to go. Bye.
This is where the doctor leaves and the divorce lawyer walks in.
Right. Every vet clinic has one on staff.
Probably should, with as many stories I've heard that have that exact twist in the end. There's so many that end up just like that, where it's like, well, this can't be mine.
Question number 4. The guidelines also emphasize the importance of technology, like teleconsultation and online referral portals, to improve communication. But what's one hilarious feature the AHA considered adding to these portals to make them more engaging? A panic button that sends a GIF of a stressed out hamster to the specialist when things get overwhelming? B. A virtual waiting room where pets can play with digital squeaky toys while their owners wait for updates? Or C. A leaderboard ranking vets based on how quickly they respond to a referral request?
Before I say what letter I'm going with, I just want to say if it's not this letter, then the other ones are super problematic and we need to talk about them. But
Okay.
I'm going to go with A.
The panic button?
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
Oh, I'm going to stand by. I'm going to stand by that answer, and I'm going to die on that hill in just a moment when you tell me I'm wrong.
Unfortunately, the correct answer is B, a virtual waiting room where pets can play with digital squeaky toys while their owners wait for updates. Because who doesn't want to watch their dog chase a pixelated bone while waiting for test results?
Okay, fine. Ha 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 ha.
Right. Right. But to be fair, we should have some kind of little GIF or some kind of little thing to let you know, like, hey, this person's being extra.
Well, it would make sense, right? When the internet first came out, right, there were those dings, right? If they clicked on this button, it would make this bell sound, to the programmers or whatever.
Right.
If they clicked on this, it would make that sound, right? And then you could kind of track it. So that I understood, and that's where I was kind of coming from. The leaderboard, get out of here, right? That's just unnecessary competition. I'm really curious to find out how the dog, because this is kind of like, when Google Chrome crashes and the little T-Rex is running and that's all you can do is play with the T-Rex. How are they going to touch the mouse? What are you going to do when they lunge at the screen and knock over your laptop and knock over your drink onto the laptop? And now,
I didn't think about that. That's true.
I never would have guessed B.
Really?
That's why I was laughing. You might have saw me in the video. I was reading. I was like, "There's no friggin' way."
Because the other ones just seem silly.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll accept that. What am I, like 2 for? No, I'm 1 and 3, 1 and 4.
There's still time.
There's still time. You can redeem yourself.
The best heroes have a redemption arc.
Yeah, I was going to say that one's on AHA. That
Or
one's not
this
on
could
you.
be the start of my villain origin story, right? This could be the start of that too. I lost on Vet Candy and then went and became like this mysterious, like Dr. What's his name? Not Doolittle. Well, I'll come up with a name. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. By the end of the show, we'll have a villain name.
Since your last name is Vega, how about Dr. Vengeance?
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Vengeance. And it all happened because of brain smarts. That's where
That's right.
More people should embrace their villain arc.
You know what? Honestly.
Question 5. Scientists are exploring the link between gut health and epilepsy in dogs, suggesting that an imbalance in gut bacteria could worsen seizures. But what's one unexpected way researchers are testing to improve gut health in epileptic dogs? A. Feeding them a daily dose of gourmet, probiotic-rich doggy yogurt. B. Giving them tiny dog-sized saunas to relax their digestive systems. C. Playing soothing classical music to their stomachs, specifically, to calm the gut bacteria, specifically.
I'm just trying to figure out how the different chords would affect the cell membranes. And I'm trying to think of that, but we'll play with that later. I'm going to go with A.
The answer is A. Feeding them a daily dose of gourmet, probiotic-rich doggy yogurt. Because nothing says cutting-edge science like a pup eating fancy yogurt while wearing a lab coat. Any coat that a Labrador wears is a lab coat.
I would agree. I just got that. I mean, that's true. And every scan that a cat does is a cat scan.
That's right.
Very true. Yogurt helps me. I'll say that. As someone who lives with GERD,
it's always
yogurt helps.
With yogurt because it's one of those, yes, good bacteria, but you have to remember that the dog is not a human, right? And we have different bacteria. So we can get into that, all that stuff. But that's really interesting to know. I'm going to have to look that up.
Question 6. The gut-brain connection is a hot topic in epilepsy research. But how exactly do scientists think the gut talks to the brain? One theory involves the vagus nerve, a superhighway of communication between the two. But what is one hilarious way researchers imagine the conversation going? A, the gut sends a text message to the brain saying, hey, chill out, I've got this under control. B, the gut bacteria form a tiny choir and sing calming lullabies to the brain. Or C, the gut sends a carrier pigeon, aka probiotic, with a note that says, stop seizing, please.
It sounds like what you're referring to are autocrine, endocrine, and exocrine functions. So I am going to go with, and let me apologize to my neurology professor in advance for this. So we're going to go with B.
The correct answer is A. The gut sends a text message to the brain saying, hey, chill out, I've got this under control. Because organs deserve a little sass in their communication.
I will get there, but yes, my villain origin, I've already, and I don't wear black, but now I'm going to find, yes, I have a pair of black glasses. I do have a pair of backup scrubs that I use when I get dirty, and I'll use a pair of black scrubs. I think those are going to become my everyday. You have...
We've broken him!
You've transformed me. The origin story is starting.
It was so light and vibrant, and now look at us.
Yeah, my light is extinguishing slowly.
We'll be right back after these messages.
We'll be right back with more Vet Candy.
Watching a dog experience a seizure due to idiopathic epilepsy, IE, can be traumatic, and the pet owner may feel overwhelmed by fear, helplessness, and uncertainty. This can make waiting for the next seizure feel like a lingering storm cloud. But with KBroVet CA-1, there is hope. KBroVet CA-1 is the first drug conditionally approved by the FDA for the control of seizures associated with idiopathic epilepsy in dogs. It works by providing a consistent and reliable source of potassium bromide and is a well-known choice to help control seizures associated with idiopathic epilepsy in dogs. KBroVet CA-1, manufactured by PRN Pharmacal, has a few other notable features and benefits as well, including a 21-day half-life, so if the owner misses a dose, drug concentration fluctuation is unlikely to occur, minimizing the risk of seizures. It's also an ideal choice for dogs with compromised liver function that cannot tolerate anti-epileptics that are processed in the liver due to hepatic metabolism. Its once-a-day dosing also makes compliance easy for the dog owner. Important safety information. KBroVet CA-1 is conditionally approved by the FDA pending a full demonstration of effectiveness under application number 141-544. See prescribing information for complete details regarding adverse events, warnings, and precautions. It's a violation of federal law to use this product other than as directed in the labeling. Contraindicated with dogs with a history of hypersensitivity to bromide, not for use in cats, not for human use. Keep out of reach of children. Contact a physician in case of accidental ingestion by humans. The most commonly reported side effects were increased appetite and thirst, increased urination, weight gain, sedation, and ataxia. Reversible neurological signs, sedation, ataxia, weakness, were generally associated with adjunctive potassium bromide treatment or high serum bromide concentrations. Animals with kidney disease may be predisposed to bromide toxicities. The safe use of KBroVet CA-1 has not been evaluated in dogs that are intended for breeding, are pregnant or lactating, or less than 6 months of age. Use caution when changing diets, administering chloride-containing fluids, and administering concurrent medications. Careful monitoring is important in dogs that have a condition that may cause difficulty maintaining electrolyte balance. Visit KBroVet.com for full prescribing information.
Question 7. Researchers at the University of Liverpool used high-powered MRI to study epileptic dogs and found that some had hidden brain abnormalities. But what's one unexpected thing they discovered about the dogs with these hidden issues? A, the dogs were secretly plotting to take over the MRI machine. B, older dogs and those with a history of prolonged seizures were at higher risk. Or C, abnormalities were shaped like tiny dog biscuits.
I'm going to go out on a limb again and say B.
B is correct. Older dogs and those with a history of prolonged seizures were at higher risk. Because even in the world of science, age and history matter.
No tiny dog biscuits involved.
No,
that would be fun, though.
I do want to say, though, that age, and this one goes to you, Dr. Bucknoff, my emergency and critical care professor, age is not a disease.
That's right. We say that all the time. People are like, I don't know, dog's 12. It's like, treat it. Question number 8. A study suggests that a high-field MRI could be a game changer for diagnosing canine epilepsy. But what's one challenge researchers faced when trying to get dogs to sit still for an MRI? A, the dogs kept barking at the machine, thinking it was a giant treat dispenser. B, some dogs insisted on bringing their favorite squeaky toys into the scanner. Or C, the MRI technicians had to learn how to say stay in 15 different dog languages.
The hardest for me personally is Chihuahua. I can speak Bernese Mountain Dog. I can speak Labrador Retriever. I can speak Boxer, but I can't speak Chihuahua. But to your point, I'm gonna go with B.
B is correct. Some dogs insisted on bringing their favorite squeaky toys into the scanner. Nothing says cutting-edge research quite like a dog trying to MRI their favorite squeaky ball.
Well, they have to. It's called surgical planning, because if you're going to open it, if you're going to eviscerate it, you got to know what you're walking into.
Right, they're just planning ahead. It's just dogs. They're called dog tours for a reason.
I was thinking of a bunch of anthropomorphic dogs in lab coats, like stroking their chins, like there's something in there.
It's like when you get your bark box and the dog tears it up and the toy inside it says your dog won. Throw this away.
Yeah. Question 9. Colorado has created a new veterinary professional associate role to address the vet shortage, but it's been met with pushback from veterinarians. One concern is that VPAs will perform medical tasks with less training than vets. So what's one hilarious requirement the opposition suggested to make sure VPAs are ready for the job? A, VPAs must successfully diagnose a cat's mood by interpreting its tail twitches. B, VPAs must complete a 24-hour marathon of The Dog Whisperer before graduating. Or C, VPAs must pass a test where they convince a golden retriever to stop eating socks.
It's supposed to be hilarious, right? So let's go with C.
C is correct. VPAs must pass a test where they convince a golden retriever to stop eating socks. Because if you can handle a sock-obsessed golden, you can handle anything.
How would you explain that to a golden?
It's no different than when the doctor tells me I need to drop 20 pounds, right? And then I leave the doctor and then I go to McDonald's and get myself a treat for being brave and going to the doctor.
Right.
I still do that. I'm of a certain age, and I still
reinforcement right there.
It is.
So yeah, it's one of those things where I don't follow my doctor's orders. I don't think my patients would either.
Fair.
Because think about the drive that takes you to eat a sock, right? Like it has to be like a Popeye's biscuit at some point. It has to get stuck in your esophagus. Like, don't tell me it didn't get stuck. But they go back again and again and again. And I do the same thing with Popeyes. And I almost go into respiratory failure each time.
I have a trick for the Popeyes biscuit. For your side, you get mashed potatoes and gravy, and you dip the biscuit in the mashed potatoes and gravy.
There you go.
Dip everything in the mashed potatoes and gravy.
I dip everything.
Yeah, gravy just makes everything better.
Facts.
They're worried that they'll perform medical tasks with less training than vets. So the bar they're setting is like, okay, well, what's the thing that only vets could do? Make that golden retriever not eat a sock.
We once had a Weimaraner who ate rocks twice.
Yeah, I've had patients that chronically, consistently eat rocks. And I don't know why it doesn't just seem funny to me, right? Owners are like, oh, he ate another rock. And I'm like, okay, like we'll cut him open again, I guess.
Right.
Let's do anesthesia again.
Yeah, like, at some point, you have to remember that, at this point, it's becoming an elective procedure at this point, I think.
Right.
And maybe part of it is they're just coming to see me. And that's what I'm starting to realize is maybe they're just interested in what color I'm wearing that day. But, you can always just pop in and say hi. You don't have to feed your dog some rocks or a sock or, anything like that. Just pop in and say hi to your friendly neighborhood veterinarian.
Like, we have got to stop meeting this way.
Maybe just get like an annual checkup.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Maybe just get one of those. Dogs are not colorblind, by the way. I don't know if anyone here still believe the old wives' tale, but they're not colorblind. They can see color. It's just a bit muted.
Yeah, it's a different wavelength, right? Just like bees, right? Bees can see in ultraviolet. It's just a different wavelength, but yeah.
Because I believed that for the longest time that they were colorblind.
Believe it or not, I always thought it was just black and white. But then when you start to learn, right, they have rods, they have cones, right, in the back of their eyes. Rods. Now, don't ask me which is color and which is black and white because I don't remember that. Wait, I think the cones are. I'm not even going to go there. I've already.
I wouldn't be able to correct you if you got it wrong.
You have rods and cones. One is responsible for black and white. The other one's responsible for color. Yeah, so once you learn that and realize, oh, yeah, they do see some color, right? But like you said, it's muted. But yeah, they can still enjoy some color. Why not?
Question number 10. The VPA curriculum includes 3 semesters of online coursework and a hands-on lab. But what's one unexpected thing students might encounter during their training? A virtual reality simulation where they perform surgery on a holographic bulldog. B, a pop quiz where they have to identify which dog breed would win a dance-off. Or C, a final exam where they must explain to a parrot why it can't eat chocolate.
In an ideal world, I would love to have a conversation with a parrot. I think it'd be very fascinating, but I'll digress for a moment. I think it's going to be A.
A is correct. A virtual reality simulation where they perform surgery on a holographic bulldog. The future of veterinary training is high tech, and holographic bulldogs don't bite.
But do they bleed?
I can say I don't know that I've ever been bitten by a bulldog. It seems like their facial structure is not built for biting. It's really flat. A bulldog has tried to bite me before, but I don't know if it's ever succeeded.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way. If they come at you with their head cocked, that gives them a good advantage to get your limb in their mouth. But you're absolutely right. Coming at you head on, there's no way for them to get a good grasp.
They got to get that angle
they're
right.
Already out of breath.
Right. Yeah. Immediately upon first movement. Talking about having a conversation with a parrot, I've had a few run-ins with birds that are pretty funny. But overall, that a lot of the clinics that I visit will usually have a parrot somewhere in the back. And being birds surrounded by a bunch of dogs that are barking, they're usually kind of standoffish and scared. But I can always get them in a good mood because I'll tilt my head to the side, like how they look at you, and I'll stand on one leg and I'll bounce up and down and do a little dance, and they will usually join me.
He's not joking. He really does do that.
That's how you make friends right there. That's a good party trick in general.
Right? He does it. Anytime someone comes over, he's like, hello, welcome. And I'm like, Clay would like a cracker, please. And I keep crackers by the door and I give them to our guests and they feed them to Clay.
That's a great party trick right there. I'll never forget when I first encountered in my wildlife rotation. I had never handled a bird before. And then I walk in and we have owls that are under care.
Nice.
And, they do a quick tutorial of how to grab the bird, right? You go up behind them, you grab them by the legs, right? And then you grab their wing. There's a whole process to restraining a bird. And I open the cage and I'm like, okay, I can do this, Tom. You can do this, Tom. You can do this. I open the cage. The owl is facing against the wall, so it's not even looking at me. And I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm going to slowly go in, grab the legs, and I'm halfway to grabbing the legs, and his head just goes all the way around, and he looks into my soul. And I'm like,
I would defecate.
this is how I die.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a mad respect for owls. I completely forgot they could turn their head around. So that was a little startling. I had completely forgotten. Yeah, so respect to birds. And they're actually quite intelligent. I know we use that phrase bird brain a lot, but it actually isn't an insult when you really think about it. They're pretty smart.
They are. Owls are cool.
Owls are very cool.
That's what I should have brought to the show. I should have went to the local pet store and got an owl. And that would have helped. Like Athena. I could have been like Athena and like answered all these questions correctly. But
that
here we are
cool.
now. Instead of the owl, instead of having like a raven, I can have an owl on my shoulder, like a Jafar kind of thing going on. So I feel an origin story.
That would be good. You have kind of a Jafar vibe today.
I was just thinking that, yeah, get me a staff, get a staff and an owl. Yeah.
The staff Jafar had was amazing.
It really was.
Real quick on the bird thing, talking about mad respect to birds. They used to be dinosaurs, so we do have to put a little respect on their name.
Yeah, I agree, especially on their lower half, right, where they're still dinosaurs.
Right, where they're still dinosaurs. A little bit of hillbilly magic, because again, southern Mississippi. I had chickens when I was younger, and when we were unable to take care of the chickens anymore, my cousins came over to take the chickens, and They nabbed them up in a very special way. It was very quick. It was very precise. Like they did this all day, every day. They just grabbed these chickens and they held them in such a way that they became completely, almost like they passed out, right? Well, they showed me one thing that you can do, and it's if you take a chicken's head and you put it underneath one of its wings, and then you grab the bird on both sides of the wings and hold the head there, and spin the chicken around 3 times slowly and like as long an arc that you can with your arms straight out. 3 full circles and then set it on the ground, it will be asleep. And I saw them do it, and then I did it, and it works. So next time you have a chicken, check it out.
I'm going to, next time a bird comes in general, I'll take a look at it.
I can't say that it works on every bird. I know it works on chickens.
I'll see what backyard chickens I can find, because believe it or not, the backyard chicken population in Chicago, along with the backyard goat population, is growing.
Really?
I actually had a mini argument with my husband the other day because Chicago Animal Care and Control found 2 goats just walking the streets of Chicago.
God.
We get that all the time here, actually.
They don't know where the city's not conducive to goats, so where did they come from? And they were in perfect health and everything, so they went to Animal Care and Control, and per protocol, 2 weeks, right? They're on the website, they get posted, and after 2 weeks, they're up for adoption. So told my husband, okay, we're getting the goats. Like, that's all there is. Like, I'm not even asking. I'm just informed. You've been informed
right.
That we're getting goats. And on the 13th day out of the 14th, somebody came forward and claimed it. Now, they weren't in any trouble or anything because it's legal to own them. How they got out, I don't ever found the story. But
and they're goats.
I just want goats. What's wrong with having some goats? I want specifically, if anyone's out there and wants to get me a goat, you should get 2, first of all. Mm-hmm. And secondly, they should be pygmy goats.
They are so cute.
Yes.
We sometimes take care of an old lady's goat, and his name is Vincent Van Goat.
That's just appropriate.
It is. We actually pet sat for the person who bred him when he was a baby. And we had like 20 minutes.
Where we almost brought that goat home.
We almost brought that goat home. But we were like, we're about to buy a house where you can't have farm animals. And we were like, well, that's okay. We could stay here and have a goat. But we didn't.
Now let me ask you this. Was one of Vincent Van Gogh's ears cropped?
It was not.
No, but it should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, humanely, maybe not, but missed opportunity overall.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're fans of good puns.
Absolutely.
Anytime you can find them.
All of our ferrets had ferret puns.
One sec. Let me go close the door because I can hear kittens. Question 11. Dr. Allison and Dr. Audrey Shin, a.k.a. the Aussie Vet Twins, are known for creating a line of fashionable scrubs. But what's one unexpected fashion rule they live by? A. Always match your stethoscope to your shoes. B. Never wear a lab coat that clashes with your patient's fur color. C. If you're performing surgery, your scrubs must have at least 1 sequin.
I'm going to go with A.
The answer is A. Always match your stethoscope to your shoes, because nothing says fashion-forward vet like a coordinated stethoscope and loafers combo.
I love the Aussie twins. I love
I
them.
have just recently discovered them, and I'm obsessed.
Aren't they amazing?
Yeah, Bondi Vet is super cool. Ellis, my dog, watches Bondi Vet all day while we're not here. While I'm out saving lives, right? No, and he's
it's a beautiful day to save lives.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day to save lives. And so and their scrub company is awesome too. I've had a chance to check it out. Super cool. I am obsessed with the fashion portion. We'll get into that later of why, but yeah, super cool.
Comfy. Oh, and their scrubs are comfy too.
Actually, we're talking about fashion. I see that you've got 2 enamel pins, and we're big enamel pin fans in this house. What do your enamel pins say?
I love a good enamel pin. So this enamel pin is the Pride and Trans flag, and it says, "You are safe with me." This one is a little beacon to people to know that I am not just an ally. I am an ally, but I'm also a member of the LGBTQ community, but I'm also an ally, right? And we're at a point in time where I think it's important, not just for the LGBT community, but in general, I think it's important to have safe spaces for everything, right? Even as a hospital, it's a safe space, right? Did your dog ingest marijuana? Okay, whatever. Come in here. I need to know.
Right.
I need to know, right? And this is a safe space. No one's going to judge you, nothing like that. Same thing from surrendering pets, right? This is a safe space. You're making a decision, right? And I don't know, we can't necessarily judge people on the cards they play when we don't know the cards they were dealt, right?
Yeah.
So I think safe spaces in general are really important. So I like to wear this pin to create a safe space, not just for my clients, but for my para staff as well. As you know, our community makes up a good part of the vet community, which is super cool. But so that's that one. This one is for me. This one says main character energy, because in case you noticed in the 40 minutes we've been together, in case you haven't noticed, I'm the Beyonce of the group, right?
You are. You
noticed that I'm the Beyonce, and you guys can be Michelle and Kelly. And I'll let you guys fight out who is who, but I'm Beyonce. But yeah, this one is really fun because, again, not from a like a egotistical standpoint, but I am often remembered, right? I'm big, I'm different, I'm all one color, my laugh, my voice, right? People remember those things, and I think it's awesome. So I like to sometimes see myself as the main character, and realistically, we're all the main character of our proper stories when you think about it. So
that's true,
right? It's also good. I mean, in the vet field, I know you're familiar with, but sometimes you got to deliver bad news or terrible news depending on what has happened. But it's nice to have something that somebody can sort of reach out and grab onto. They can see that pin, and it can give them a moment of relaxation and everything that's going on.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's awesome.
I love doing it, and I get compliments on it all the time. People are like, "I like your pin. I like your pin." And again, it's a little secret, right? A little, you're safe with me, right? If you want to be safe with me, you're safe with me, and that's fine. So
that's awesome. Well, on to question number 12. Fashion in the veterinary world isn't just about looking good. It's about practicality, too. So what's one trend that's reportedly catching on in vet clinics? A, scrubs with built-in treat pockets for bribing nervous patients. B, lab coats with LED lights for dynamic entrances during emergencies. C, stethoscope charms shaped like tiny animals to match the patient.
I am going to go the most practical. Well, that's the thing, though. Fashion's not always practical, but I'm going to go with C.
Is that your final answer?
No, it's not.
I mean, I need a treat after I go to the doctor.
That's true. So and you know what? I think I don't think it'd be great to wash those scrubs after you put treats in them, but let's go ahead and see if putting treats in your scrubs is making a debut.
I mean, that one makes the most sense to me. Clay, what do you think?
Wait, is that what you're saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. The correct answer is...
What? What were you saying, Dr. Vega?
No, I was just saying I was going to go with A.
Okay. A is correct. Scrubs with built-in treat pockets for bribing nervous patients. Fashion's important, but snacks are forever.
That's true. What can I say?
We love a snack.
Yeah.
People are always complaining about not enough pockets.
It's true.
That's always like the number one complaint.
You know what? I find there's enough pockets, but they're not where you need them to be, right?
And they're not deep.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're not deep. That's
they're like little bitch pockets. Yeah. They're going to have to bleep that out.
They're going to have to bleep that one out,
huh? All right, Clay, we're 1 for 1 with the swears.
Question 13. Dr. Thomas Vega, the fashion vet, believes that fashion can boost confidence and morale in the veterinary field. But what's one outrageous idea he's proposed to make vet clinics more stylish? You will lose extra points if you miss this question.
Yeah, this one's worth like 5 points.
A, turning waiting rooms into mini fashion runways for pets and owners. B, hosting scrub couture fashion shows at veterinary conferences. Or C, replacing all clinic chairs with designer thrones for pets.
Yeah, I'm going to lose this one. So I'm going to go with B.
B is correct.
He knew. He knew all along.
Just trying to fake us out.
You know what it is? It's that imposter syndrome.
Oh, gosh. How about that imposter syndrome? Question number 14, and this is the final question.
All right.
Fashion isn't just for humans. Pets are getting in on the trend, too. What's one ridiculous pet fashion accessory that's reportedly popular in vet clinics? A, stethoscope covers for pets who want to play vet. B, tiny lab coats for pets to wear during their checkups. Or C, designer cones of shame covered in rhinestones.
I love C. Let's go with C.
C is correct. Designer cones of shame covered in rhinestones, because even if you're recovering from surgery, you should still sparkle.
Yeah, and even if you're going to be ashamed, you might as well do it in style.
Right.
Well, you didn't do as bad as you thought you did. All the questions you missed in the beginning were the only questions you missed. You still got 10 correct.
There you. Oh, okay. Well, I will believe that. I'm going to choose to have a good night and believe that.
That's right.
For my own self-care, as a little treat to myself.
As a treat.
It's like a treat. A little gaslighting never hurt anybody.
I would never gaslight our listeners.
You never have, and you never will.
I never will. I don't even know what gaslighting is. It's probably something you made up. Well, folks, that's a wrap on another fabulous episode of Brain Smarts by Vet Candy. Caitlin, I don't know about you, but I feel like I just got a masterclass in both veterinary knowledge and how to accessorize a lab coat.
Same. Dr. Vega, you've officially proven that you can diagnose a dog, rock a blazer, and crush trivia all at the same time. You're basically the Swiss Army knife of veterinarians.
And let's be real, you've also set the bar dangerously high for the rest of us. How am I supposed to go back to my regular Metallica shirts after this?
Don't worry, Clay. I'm sure you can pull off a fedora, maybe.
I will not read the line where it says that I agree.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning into Brain Smarts by Vet Candy. If you loved this episode as much as we did, make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on social media for more laughs, trivia, and maybe even some fashion tips from Dr. Vega.
Until next time, stay sharp, stay stylish, and remember, whether you're saving lives or just trying to match your socks, you're doing amazing.
It's Vet Candy.
Vet Candy.
It's Vet Candy Radio.